Next, Hurricane Maria. It blasted Puerto Rico today with sustained winds of 155 miles an hour. That left more than 3 million people to ride out the island's strongest storm since 1932. PJ Tobia begins our coverage.
The people of Puerto Rico spent a long day trapped in their homes, snatching cell phone glimpses of Maria, carving a slow, destructive path. The hurricane made landfall about dawn and quickly ripped roofs off of buildings, tore fences from the ground, and unleashed deadly storm surges and 20 inches of rain as it swept across the island and past San Juan. Raul Pichardo recorded images of a home wrecked in his San Juan neighborhood.
That whole building over there is already completely destroyed. A home satellite dish just fell right here.
The storm knocked out 21 of the island's 22 weather stations and left nearly all of its people without power. Officials imposed an overnight curfew. Local reports said several coastal villages were largely wrecked. The mayor of Fajardo told one outlet, "I've never seen my city so destroyed." Maria's power was intensified by extremely low pressure, lower even than Hurricane Irma's 2 weeks ago. That, coupled with the storm's smaller, more concentrated center, added to the destruction. A day earlier, it blasted the tiny islands of Dominica and Guadeloupe, plus St. Croix in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Scattered reports today told of major damage and little or no communications. Puerto Rico had already suffered an estimated $1 billion in damage from Irma after a decade-long struggle to recover from recession. Now, housing in the territory is a growing concern, with more than 11,000 people in shelters. But in a statement today, Governor Ricardo Rosselló insisted we are stronger than any hurricane. Together, we will rebuild. Meanwhile, the storm is rolling on. It's expected to skirt the Dominican Republic by tomorrow, continuing northeast and passing near Turks and Caicos Thursday night and the Bahamas by Saturday morning. It may also regain some of the power it lost crossing Puerto Rico. Fearing the worst, officials in the Dominican Republic scrambled today to get ready as rain began to fall. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm PJ Tobia in Washington.
As of this evening, the hurricane's sustained winds dropped to 110 miles an hour. And we keep our focus on Puerto Rico now, and we're joined by Carlos Mercader. He's a spokesman for the governor of Puerto Rico. Mr. Mercader, we're seeing reports that power is out across the entire, the extent of the island of Puerto Rico. Is that right?
That's right. The governor, days before the storm, he had basically warned everyone that the infrastructure of the electric system was really vulnerable to what we were going to be facing, and in the wake of what's probably the most damaging hurricane we've ever seen in our history, that was going to be one of the areas that we were going to feel the damage more closely.
Do you have any sort of assessment yet of how much damage has been done to buildings, to homes?
No, well, to be honest, we're still facing some of the effects of the hurricane. Right now, in San Juan, it's still rain. There's still some winds, not necessarily the winds that they were feeling 10 hours ago, but there's still some winds of 40, 50, 60 miles per hour. So they gotta wait until that rain ends and the winds just go down, so that they can deploy all of the brigades that they have. We have kind of like a task force created with FEMA, DOD, Department of Homeland Security, and the local state agencies that basically, once the storm is out, they're going to deploy to the whole island to assess the damages, and then we'll be able to talk about a number. But I just would like to say this: it's in terms of infrastructure, material damage, it's total devastation.
I should have asked you this first. What about casualties, loss of life, injuries?
I believe that that's one of the good stories here so far, and is that because of the preparation that the government ensued during the days before the storm, the federal authorities, all of the sectors in Puerto Rico, private sector, all joined the governor in his message of in his warnings that this was going to be a damaging storm, and that people either would seek refuge in one of the shelters, or they would face life danger, right, or they would endanger their life. And in that sense, people responded well. People, we had about, right now, we still have about 12,500 evacuees that are in the 500 shelters that we have throughout the island, and we're expecting that the number may keep more or less around that same figure, because you know that a lot of people lost their homes. We're talking here about major devastation. When we say major devastation, that means that in terms of infrastructure, we have full communities that 80 or 90% of the homes are complete disaster. They were totally lost. So those people probably, once they go back and they see that they don't have a home, or that their home it's inhabitable, they gotta go back to the shelter. So we have those shelters prepared for some long stay of some of the evacuees.
You are facing Puerto Rico needing a lot of help in the weeks and months to come, it sounds like.
Yeah. No, I would like to say one thing, is that we throughout Irma and throughout Maria, we've had a big support from the President of the United States, Donald Trump, his agencies, Brock Long, the administrator of FEMA, Tom Bossert, the advisor to the President on Homeland Security, the Secretary Price, Secretary of HHS Price. All of them have been in constant communication with the governor. They called him on a daily basis almost, and they've not only shown their support in words but in actions. We have a big team of FEMA working right now on the ground in Puerto Rico. They've deployed people from DHS. We have helicopters from the military in Puerto Rico ready to start working with the different crises that we're going to start working in once the storm goes. So we've had a lot of help, but we need more. And I think in this sense, I want to talk a little bit about what happened with Irma. You know that while Irma didn't hit Puerto Rico directly, Irma did cause a lot of damage in the neighboring islands, and Puerto Rico became a safe haven for a lot of citizens that were stranded in those islands. Puerto Rico helped, even though when we needed help. Now, obviously, we're going to need more support, and we're calling on Congress and all political leaders to support your fellow citizens in Puerto Rico.
Well, we are certainly wishing the very best for all the people of Puerto Rico. Carlos Mercader, who is a representative of the governor of Puerto Rico, we thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.